welcome back everyone to episode 4 of season 3 of Let's Talk Dreams. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing ZED EXODUS 2 by Trix9. And for our amazing assets today, the theme is going to be arcade, so stick around for that. And I know, some of you are very curious about the egg. I still have no idea what it is, so I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Although it has got pretty big, huh? Oh well, let's get on with the review. ZED EXODUS 2 is one of your classic motorbike 2D arcade-style games. The aim of the game is to proceed through the levels, collect the collectibles, and get a high score at the same time. Not to mention complete all the challenges, and there's even a pinball arcade. It's actually really fun. If I had to compare it to games outside of Dreams, it would be Trials meets Joe Danger. A very good combination of both of those, I think. Now that we're done with a brief overview of the game, let's get into some of the pros. So of course the first pro has to go to gameplay. This game plays flawlessly. They must have spent a long time getting the bike to fit and work perfectly within the boundaries of a kind of 2D arcade style. Next up, we're going to be talking about the graphics of the game. Now the graphics of the game are a very kind of toon style. There's sort of a matte finish on a lot of the assets, and it makes everything look really nice. The color pops, everything stands out perfectly, and it's all got that kind of nice smooth edging to it. Next, I want to talk about audio design. The music for the different levels are fantastic. The narrator and, the way he speaks and announces different things, absolutely fantastic, gives it an amazing arcade vibe to it, but very professional. And lastly, I just want to talk about the levels and actually the hub design. It's really cool. I love really nice orchestrated hub worlds, especially when you can kind of drive around the way you can in the little car. It was very fun. It's one of my favorite thing in games, and I have to give a shout out to the pinball level. That was just a kind of nice added touch into an already, what I would say is complete experience. Now for the dreaded cons list. I mean, if you've heard me speaking about this game so far, honestly, for what the game is, it's kind of a perfect game. The gameplay is fun, the world looks nice, the music and narration is good, and unfortunately I actually do have a flaw with the game. And it's kind of a big one depending on where you stand. The flaw with the game, or con, is the player model of ZED EXODUS. And my flaw with it is that it's very clearly a dream puppet. In a game where everything looks so tight and smooth, his edges are, how do I explain this? The knee joints on the clothing and the elbows, and also you can sometimes see the outline on his face of like a different face where when he's speaking or making a noise, you can kind of see like the line of his mouth. I'm not talking about his lips, I'm just talking about, when they change the puppet head, you can kind of see where it kind of phases in and out. So yeah, in a game that's pretty much perfect for the type of game that it is, the only issue I have is the character model. You can kind of notice it at the end of whenever you do a run in a level. He flips over and you can see his face and the kind of joints and stuff. I think if they perfected the model, the game, flawless. Absolutely. But that's it for the review. So let's spin that wheel and see what tier ZED EXODUS 2 lands on. Another A tier! Congratulations, Trix9. You deserve it. Now, it's time to move on to our arcade-themed assets. Let's go! We've got an awesome collection of arcade-themed assets this week. So, let's take a look at our first one. Arcade Sign by J Monkey at 4% thermal. The really cool thing about this sign is it's completely customizable. You can change the color of the lights, change the position of the bulbs, completely have it your own way. Up next is the Arcade Cabinet Template by Clark's Mind at 3% thermo. As we said about the sign, this is completely customizable as well. It's left blank so that your imagination can go all over this arcade. And you can do so many cool things. I mean, off the top of my head, you could have like one of your characters sucked into the game. That's always a cool way to start a story, right? Up next is Pixel Hawaii Skoo-Ball by Duckonomics at 5% thermo. You can't have an arcade without some skee ball. Oh well, Skoo-Ball. And this asset is not only beautifully designed, but very low on thermal, and is actually functional, so you can actually play the game. And of course, if you wanted to change the look of it, not that you would necessarily need to because the asset's so nicely designed, it would be pretty easy to fit it into whatever arcade theme you've got going on. And lastly, the unexciting arcade floor by Bella Iris 1% Thermo. No matter what age you are, no matter when you've been to an arcade, you can always identify an arcade floor. This is one of the most quintessential things you've got to have in an arcade because it's a nostalgia trip right to the face, and it looks perfect. And of course now it's time for the Dreamer Request Board. This week is Eat My Pantaloons, and he's looking for some music. But not just any music, he's looking for 1920 to 1930s inspired piano, Charlie Chaplin / Steamboat Willie inspired music. So, if you're one of those talented dreamer musicians, please give him a message on Eat My Pantaloons on PSN. All skill level was welcome. Please contact recipients PSN and not LTD. All T's and C's apply. Well, that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Let's Talk Dreams, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!